In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a DJ transition that when I perform live, someone in the audience immediately came up to me and gave me a fist bump. It's a creative wordplay transition between two tracks that always gets a really great reaction from the audience, which is actually quite simple to do, especially once you break it down. So what I'm going to do first is show you the DJ transition done live, then I'll break it down for you step by step and show you exactly how you can do it as well. On the left hand side we have the track Paris by Jay-Z and Kanye West, and on the right hand side we have the track Rolex by Ayo and Teo. This track on the right hand side, Rolex, is the intro version from a DJ specific website. I think if I remember rightly I got it from Beat Source, and what I'll do is put the full track titles in the description of this video so you can grab them yourself as well. Now what I've done is loaded both these tracks into my DJ software for the first time, just like you would be doing at home. Now the first thing we always need to check is the beat grids. We need to make sure that the beat grids are correct on both tracks, especially this track on the left hand side, Paris, as sometimes this can get analysed differently depending on the DJ software you have. The first thing we need to check is the BPM value. Sometimes it says 70 BPM and sometimes it says 140 BPM. Now they are kind of both right, one's just twice as fast as the other, so they can still both be mixed with them two speeds. If you were to check here on Beat Source, it would say that the track is 70 BPM, but if you were to check on Google, it would tell you that it has a tempo of 140 BPM. Now for me, I think the true BPM of the track is 140 BPM as I find it has quite a fast tempo, but when I actually DJ it live, I actually put it at 70 BPM. This is just so that I can mix it with other tracks at around 70 BPM that are also in the same genre, such as hip hop and R&B. Now with the tempo slider at 0, which means the track is at its original speed, it says here that it's 70 BPM, which is great, but I can tell by looking at the waveform here that the grid lines are not in the correct place. So what I'm going to do is go all the way over to the left hand side and just open up beat grid edit mode. If your track doesn't say 70 BPM, all you need to do is just type it into this box here, just type in 70 and it should change the BPM of the track. And then what I'm going to do is just put the playhead on the track on the top, right at the start of that first kick drum, zoom all the way in. So right now we're looking at this top waveform. I'm just going to put it right at the start of the kick drum and then just hit this half white, half red button that will reset the beat grid to this point. From here now, if you want to make sure this doesn't change, you can just click the lock button and that will lock the beat grid in place. I'm now going to zoom all the way back out and change this layout back to hot cue mode. Now the beat grid should be correct. That is how you pretty much fix most tracks' BPMs. Just make sure the BPM value is correct, then put the grid lines at the start of the first kick drum of the track. If you do want a more in-depth tutorial on how to correct your beat grids, I have done a full video on this topic showing you how to correct dance music and hip hop and R&B music beat grids. Beat grids are one of the most important things that you need to make sure are correct on your tracks because everything in the DJ software works around the beat grid. Things such as loops, hot cues, beat jump, effects all work around where the beat grid is on the track, and if that's wrong, it's going to make everything else a lot more difficult for you. So now if we press play on the track on the left and count along, you'll see that my forward count lands on every red grid line marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And just by looking at the track on the right hand side, I can see that the beat grid is correct there and the BPM is right. So if I count along in fours now, you should hear that they'll land on the red markers on the grid lines as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now that we know the beat grids are correct on both these tracks, what we need to do is find the point in the track on Paris where he says rollies that don't tick-tock, which should be around this point here, and if you've got the same track, it should be around 14 bars on the track. Tyson, Jordan, game 6, also hard, got a broke clock, rollies that don't tick-tock. Alright, just there, rollies that don't tick-tock. Let's wind it back. And it's halfway through this bar here and it will be at bar number 14.3. What we need to do is just set a 2-beat loop over this point and that loop would sound like this.
Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't tick tock.
Then from here, what you want to do is just isolate the vocals so the vocals are by themselves, and you can do this by using stems and removing the other sounds such as the drums, bass and instruments. So to do this, you need to go to your settings, go to the left hand side where it says extensions, and right at the top it says enable the stems function. Make sure that this is turned on. Then we're also going to scroll down where it says active stem settings. What I'm going to do here is click solo. What this means is then when I press vocals on the stems, it will solo just the vocals. Let's close down the preferences. So now if I press the vocal button here on the left hand side, it's just going to isolate them vocals, which sounds like this.
Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't tick tock.
That's going to sound a lot cleaner when we're doing the DJ transition because we're going to bring the intro of the other track over the top of this one. Then during the transition, once we've let that loop a few times, what we're going to do is reduce that loop down to 1 beat and then half a beat, so it's just isolating that word rolly, which sounds like this.
Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't. Rollies that don't. Rollies that don't. Rollies that don't. Rolly, 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 rolly.
And then just fade that out into the next track. All right, let's just reset this track back to normal. Let's exit the loop, put all the sounds back in. There are two different ways that you can set this loop when DJing. First is to do it manually with the in and out button. You press in where you want the start of the loop, and then you press out where you want the end of the loop. And that will look like this.
Michael, take your pick. Jackson, Tyson, Jordan, Game 6. Fall so hard, got a broke clock. Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies.
Or what you can also do is save the loop in your hot cue bank and set it as an automatic loop so it automatically activates when it gets to this point. So for example here, I'm just going to save this loop in hotkey D. Then to make sure that it's an automatic loop, just this loop symbol here, I'm going to click that and it'll turn red. When it's red, that means it's going to automatically activate when it gets to this point, which sounds like this.
Jordan,
so I'm not going to press anything.
Got a broke clock. Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't tick tock.
A lot of the time when I have word plays like this, I'll use the automatic loop just because it reduces the chance of me messing up when I'm DJing live. Now we need to find the point where we're going to start the next track. So what we need to do is jump back from here around 16 beats, which takes us to this point in the track, which sounds like this. So it's just at this point here where we need to set a hot cue, and this is just to remind us where to start the next track. So if you have the same track, the original version of Paris, this is at 10.1 bars. So I'm just going to play that again so you can see where the hot cue is and listen to that point in the track.
What's 50 grand to a motherfucker like me? Can you please remind me? Fall so hard, this shit crazy. Y'all don't know that don't shit phase. And that's could go 0 for 82 when I look at you like this shit gravy. Fall so hard, this shit weird. We ain't even po be here.
Alright, so that's the point in the track where you need to set a hot cue. Just here, and that's where we're going to bring the next track in. So that's the track Paris all set up and prepared. What we're going to do now is just set a couple of quick hot cues on the track Rolex just to know when we bring the track in and when to mix completely into this track. So we need a hot cue right at the very start of the track here, and these are the two hot cues that we're going to line up to get our timing right for the mix. Then what we need to do is go to the point of the track where the intro ends and the vocals start, which is just around here, which sounds like this. So what we need to do is just wind this back, go to the start of this phrase here, where the vocals start, and just set a hot cue just at this point. This is just a visual marker for us to let us know when the vocals come in and when to be fully mixed out of this track on the left. Alright, now you might have noticed that these two tracks are not completely at the same speed. The track on the left is exactly 70 beats per minute, but the track on the right is 72.5 beats per minute. Now what I'm going to do for the sake of this tutorial is just hit beat sync on both these tracks to make sure that the tempos are matched up. If our beat grids are correct, beat sync should work perfectly. What I'm going to do is beat sync them up both to the fastest track. When I DJ live, I generally find that tracks sound better being sped up slightly rather than slowed down. So I always try when doing my transitions to make sure I play both tracks at the fastest speed. So right now when I press beat sync, both these tracks should go to 72.5 BPM. When using beat sync, it's good practice to turn beat sync on both decks and not just one. Alright, now with everything prepped, that transition should sound like this.
So hard, this shit crazy. Y'all don't know that don't shit phase. And that's could go 0 for 82 when I look at you like this shit gravy. Fall so hard, this shit weird. We ain't even po be here. Fall so hard since we here. It's only right that we be fair. Psycho, I'm liable to go Michael. Take your pick. Jackson, Tyson, Jordan, Game 6. Fall so hard, got a broke clock. Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't tick tock. Rollies that don't. Rollies that don't. Rollies that don't. Rollies that don't. Rollie, 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 rollie.
I just wanna rollie, rollie, rollie with a dapper ranch. I already got some designer to hold on my pants.
If you like this style of video where I break down some of my favorite DJ transitions so you can do them too, then check out this video next where I break down a DJ transition that when I did live, someone in the audience screamed. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you again in the future. Bye for now.